Hey guys, I'm back, and so is Harold Meacham, but not for too long. Spoilers. And anyway, so we start off with he's in his hyperbolic chamber and gets yanked out, and he's expected to cut off his pinky and possibly his tongue because he lied. And this whole time I kept on thinking that he was just this bad guy. He's a bad guy. Yeah, he's such a bad guy. Like because in the movie, excuse me, in the comics, he was a bad guy. He actually. Here's the funny thing about it in the comics, he he's the one who actually killed Danny's father, and I didn't want to give that away because I figured that eventually it would come to that. But it seems like he really was a good guy. Um, he was trying to actually defend Danny, and he's like, "Oh, I've never actually seen Danny. No, he's never been. I don't know what you're talking about." All of a sudden, he comes in, Harold, we got to talk, and so, dude, like, really, just so bad. Well, at the end of this, obviously, you get to see that, yeah, he got killed by Ward, by his son. So, wow. So he's done. He's in the swamp. The same swamp that smashing out the teeth of the guys who came for Madame Gao from the hand to beat him up. And what do you call it? Harold sent Ward to take the bodies out to the swamp. So yeah, he's in there with the swamp, and I honestly expected, not really, I honestly joking expected to see a Swamp Thing, excuse me, Man Thing appearance. Swamp Thing is DC Comics, Man Thing is Marvel, and he was first. But yeah, yeah, just for the sake of conversation, in the comics, it was actually they were Danny Rand's father was actually Wendell was actually from Kunlun, or at least he'd been there for at least 10 years at one point, came back to work for some time, and then wanted to go back to heaven, so to speak. And he brought Heather, his wife, and Danny, his son, and he actually brought Harold, his business partner, with him. And it was called Rand Meacham. That was the name of the company, not just Rand. So yeah, they were going and trying to look for the door that was supposed to appear at any moment, and what do you call it? Danny slipped on a cliff face and fell down, and they were all tied up with a rope, and Heather fell down also, but Harold went and grabbed it, and then he got pulled down also. Not Harold, excuse me. Wendell, Danny's dad, got pulled down also, and he was hanging by the cliff face. Now his wife and kid fell on a ledge on the side, but the place that uh, Wendell fell. Sorry, I am really tired, guys. The place where Harold fell, Wendell, Danny's father. I'm just going to do that from now on. The place where Danny's father fell, and he was holding on. He was right over top of a cavernous maw. So if he fell, that's it. He was dead. And Harold Meacham took this as the opportunity to kill Wendell. So he stepped with his spike boots. He stepped on his fingers, and Harold held on for as long as Danny's dad, Wendell, held on for as long as he could. He had some serious training under his belt. He was a tough guy, but he wound up eventually falling, and he fell down to his death. And Harold was like, "All right, you guys come with me, and you'll live. Otherwise, stay out here and die." And I'm like, "Yeah, I would rather stay out here and die." And Heather actually started throwing rocks at him, and yeah, way to go. So he left them, and they went off. And Heather got eaten by wolves to try and protect um, Danny, give him enough time to get across this rope bridge that actually led right to the doorstep of Kunlun. So he wasn't supposed to turn out. It was kind of like a Crow moment, if you ever seen that from Caliber Comics, the Crow, Eric Draven. That was Brandon Lee's last movie. Uh, it didn't happen in the movie, but in the comics, it was like the Crow said to Eric Draven, "Don't look, don't turn around, don't look," and he did turn around and saw his wife being raped. Really messed up scene. In this, just something inside of him said, his mother yelled out, "Don't turn around," and she jumped right into the mouths of the wolves, and they were tearing her apart. And he did turn around and look, and just in time for the Kunlun guys to come out with some crossbows and take down the wolves. So yeah, really wild stuff. And Harold Meacham, in the meantime, he went back and he waited for 10 years because he expected that Danny was going to come back. He heard from travelers that some young boy actually made it there and heard the whole story. Meanwhile, he wound up getting lost, and he was out for so long he actually got frostbite and lost his legs. So Yeah, and then he wound up being killed by a ninja when not a hand ninja. Go figure. So yeah, really weird in the comics. This is a very different story. So to find out that he was actually a good guy, wild man, wild, and that's 5 minutes of a comic book story. So let's just look at my notes here. Yeah, Danny walks in. It's funny. Danny is talking about how him and Davos. Remember, I was just talking about Davos last episode. Him and Davos. That's the steel serpent. They were going around. They were wine stealing friends, stealing the plum wine. Um, Gao actually is at Rand and she makes a threat and she's hiding on the 13th floor. And I love the whole 13th floor thing. Like, it's so silly. But at the same time, it worked in the beginning of the New 52 with Zack Snyder's first run on Batman, The Court of Owls. Oh my God. You might see the owl mask right there, right next to the Captain America below the Optimus Prime. My Court of Owls. Oh, such a great story. I can't wait for that to hit the big screen one day. And anyway, yeah, it looks like there's going to be a hostile takeover, or there has been a hostile takeover because Danny just no good, and nobody can control Danny. Uh, what is this? Danny running the ruining the company, already essentially ruined it. Eventually, he will get the company. I don't think that they can really change this in the Netflix series. Danny eventually does get the company. This is when it was changed to just Rand instead of Rand Meacham, and he actually bought several buildings so that in perfect order so that he could actually run from rooftop to rooftop to get around, like all these other heroes, even like Daredevil, he could use the billy club and get around, almost like Spider-Man can. Not Danny, he has to run, so he runs and jumps from rooftop to rooftop, and to make sure that he doesn't get caught or in trouble and have safe spots, he bought several strategic buildings so that he could patrol the city like that. How awesome is that, But also, if Misty Knight is going to lose her arm to complications and an extra bullet wound, which I expect may happen in the Defenders coming up, the next big thing from Marvel Netflix, then I don't believe it's going to be Tony Stark who gives her the new arm. I think it's going to be Rand Meacham. I actually expected that from the first episode here when I saw all the different things that that Rand company does. Anyway, yeah, Gao now has the formula, and Anzo that's showing that Danny Rand's father wasn't such a good guy after all. And yeah, the whole thing, he killed his father, which is just wow, man, wow. So anyway, yeah, that's all I got. I got something else written here, and I can't actually read it. Can't When you can't read your own handwriting, there's a problem there. Anyway, so yeah, okay, that's all I got. Okay, so I'll see you next episode. I'm gonna continue watching. Got some food. Wife hooked me up, and okay, bye.